If you're performing installation work in Texas, or you've seen some of our other videos where we mention TDI or the Texas Department of Insurance when it comes to engineering, you might be wondering what that means, who do they govern, what locations does it impact, and what does that mean for your business? That's what we're talking about today's Q&A Monday. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Metal Roofing channel. I'm Thad Barnett. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. We release metal roofing and metal construction content every Monday and Wednesday. And today we're talking about the Texas Department of Insurance, what that organization is, who do they govern, what locations do they impact, and what it means for your business as a standing seam metal roofing installer. And today I have Doug Markle from Sheffield Metals back on the channel to help me out. Thanks for being here, Doug. Really appreciate it.
You bet that.
So you work out of Texas in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so you're very experienced when it comes to TDI and what they do and what that means. So let's start there. What is Texas Department of Insurance?
TDI is an insurance governing body that obviously covers the entire state of Texas. They're involved in a number of areas in the construction industry, but today we're going to talk a little bit about TDI and its involvement in standing seam metal roofing.
Now, if someone's watched the channel before, they're familiar with engineering and testing, they might have heard of TDI through that, or seen them on test reports, things like that. So what does that mean? What do they govern when it comes to standing seam metal roofing installation?
Good question. So because of some weather events, especially here in recent history, namely hurricanes along the Texas Gulf Coast, TDI has gotten involved in helping to influence and govern over building codes on re-roofing projects or even new construction, specifically along the Texas coast. And they have instituted a number of windstorm requirements, which basically means there are building codes and testing that needs to be met. And therefore, TDI will grant approval on a re-roofing project or a new construction project because they know that that standing seam metal roof that's going on is going to perform adequately in those type of weather events.
Do TDI requirements impact all of Texas? Do I have to know that no matter where I'm at in the Texas area?
No, they're really focused on the 14 counties along the Texas Gulf Coast. Obviously, TDI does govern over the entire state, but they're heavily involved in the roofing projects that are going along up and down the Texas coast.
When it comes to engineering, specifically for standing seam metal roofing, what types of things do they require, and what types of things does a manufacturer like Sheffield Metals offer?
So TDI requires approval codes from manufacturers like Sheffield Metals. And what that means is there are 3 different windstorm zones in the 14 counties there along the Texas Gulf Coast. Depending upon how close you get to the shoreline is what determines what approval code you have to have. And it's all windstorm related. So there's a submittal process for suppliers like Sheffield. And what we do is we take our existing UL 580 wind uplift testing and submit that for review at TDI. And then once we pass their inspection requirements, then Sheffield is awarded various approval codes so that we can work with contractors in those various zones on either re-roofing projects or new construction.
So if you're installing in that area, you have to install products that meet those requirements. Is that right?
Correct. TDI also has their own field inspectors that they will randomly send out to check in on projects to make sure that the panel profile, the assembly, the installation details, et cetera, meet TDI approval. And you are required to have that documentation on the job site so that if and when an inspector shows up, you can show that you are in compliance with the TDI requirements.
Have you had experience with inspections like that?
I have. That's been going on for several years now, especially since the last hurricane that hit the Port Aransas, Southeast Texas area. We see a lot of projects, the vast majority of projects that are going on down there typically have a TDI inspector that pays a visit to the job site, sometimes on multiple occasions, to make sure that the work that's going on there is in compliance.
Now, is this for residential and commercial, all buildings?
It is for both, correct.
So if I'm an installer in that area, how do I follow their rules? What information do I need? Is there a website? Can I get help from a supplier?
There is. The website is www.tdi.gov. And on that website, there is a specific roofing category that has a lot of detailed, very useful information as to what TDI is looking for compliance, the different approval codes and what those mean. And then it also lists all of the approved suppliers and manufacturers that have TDI approval. So contractors already have a leads list on where they can go to get materials that they already know are TDI approved.
If I'm installing a Sheffield Metals product, is Sheffield Metals able to help me with that process and submittal for approval?
Absolutely. So Sheffield has already gained TDI approval, various approval codes depending upon the panel profile. And we have those listed on our website, on all of our panel profile cut sheets, et cetera. And Sheffield can basically meet any existing TDI windstorm requirement that's out there currently.
So is there any other facets of Texas Department of Insurance that we want to cover in this video here?
Yeah, I think for property owners, whether it's a residential homeowner or it's a commercial property building owner, there's one other thing to point out, especially in a re-roof situation. Let's say that they're requiring some repair work because of storm damage, et cetera. If that homeowner or building owner is having difficulty with their existing insurance company, TDI does have an agency within the organization called the Texas Windstorm Insurance Agency, or TWIA for short, and they can assist with offering insurance options to those property owners as long as the work being performed and the type of roofing, et cetera, meets the TDI windstorm requirements. So you do have other options to get insurance coverage if you're running into trouble with your existing company.
Yeah, and that's a good point about homeowners and building owners. What else do they have to consider? If they're in that jurisdiction, those 14 counties, now they know that their products have to meet that approval. Should they be checking with their contractor, asking them about it?
Absolutely. I think it's important for property owners to do their due diligence and know, especially if they've seen this video, that there are windstorm requirements specific to the state of Texas and certain building codes that project has to meet. And like I said, you can go to the TDI website, find an approved list of manufacturers and suppliers, reach out to them. For instance, Sheffield Metals, we can align you with a regional manufacturer and installer in that area that we've done work with before, that we know that work will meet all of those TDI windstorm requirements.
Yeah, that's some great info. Thanks, Doug, again for joining me today on the Metal Roofing Channel. If you have any questions, check out tdi.gov or ask around at sheffieldmetals.com. Love to help you with your approvals and getting the correct product for your project in Texas. Comment down below with any other questions. Subscribe here to the Metal Roofing Channel. And as always, I'm Thad Barnett, and we'll catch you next time.